So, hey everybody, it is Friday the 28th of May 2021, and it's time for Jonnychipz Weekly, episode number 22. So yeah, hey again everybody, and thanks for tuning in. It's Friday lunchtime, and it's time for another Jonnychipz Weekly episode. So I'm going to keep this episode relatively brief today, really because we had Build this week, Microsoft Build. So I'm going to focus a little bit on that. We've got a couple of community call-outs, things that I picked up this week, but it's obviously been a bit of a personal week for me this week, so I've not managed to stay up to date so much this week with what's been going on in the community, but I know a lot has gone on. So we're going to focus a little bit on what went down at Build over the last few days. So without further ado, let's jump over to the desktop. Okay, so to start off, we're going to start off with a couple of community callouts. It's going to be a little bit focused on Build and a few other bits and pieces that came out of Build. But just to kick things off, obviously Scott Hanselman, I'm sure we'll all agree that Scott Hanselman is one of those forces to be reckoned with in the Microsoft community. Obviously from a programming point of view and a programmer, he's just such a charismatic guy, and obviously does some fantastic things out there in the community, and obviously for Microsoft. So Scott and his team had put together one of the keynotes at Build, and it was really cool to see Abel Wang join in on the action as well. So it was really a funny little video that Scott and his team had put together in terms of what the keynote was. So if you haven't watched that, then obviously it's on YouTube at the moment, and obviously on the if you log back into your Build website, you can get a replay of that. But yeah, really clever, really great little scenes. Really talking about all the advances with lots of things in the programming space, from VS Code and some of the enhancements with WSL. Obviously, some of the updates and improvements on Windows. Looking at Windows, the new version of Windows Terminal. So there's loads to delve into. So yeah, I mean, head on over, rewatch that keynote really, and then jump on into some of the sessions. So just wanted to call it out because I thought it was a really cool thing to do, and a great little video there that has been put together. In other news that caught my eye this week, I noticed Thomas Maurer had put together a little bit of a blog article and a video where he talks about this Azure Arc Jumpstart ArcBox, which essentially is a set of resources that has been put together really to demonstrate all the functionality and capabilities of Arc. So in a sense, you can see here, just looking at the Azure Arc Jumpstart website, which is azurearcjumpstart.io, you can see that there's a bunch of services that have been installed in essentially a single resource group, that you can kind of jump on in and get a flavor of all the Arc services. So we go from things like Azure Arc enabled servers. So I think the actual jump box, the Arc box, includes 3 Arc enabled server resources that are hosted using nested virtualization in Azure. We've got Arc enabled Kubernetes, so it deploys a small K3s cluster on an Azure VM, and it's obviously that's all connected through Azure Arc. And there's also some data services. So if you're really looking to understand Azure Arc in a little bit more detail, get under the hood and understand how it can work for your enterprise, your organization, that's a great little concept there in terms of looking at this Arc box, really just to get to grips with the capabilities, as I suggested earlier. So we've got that. There's a great little video there where Thomas Maurer is speaking with Dale Kirby, and they obviously discuss the capabilities and the reasons behind that. So yeah, jump on over, take a look at that if that's something of interest to you. Okay, quick call out for Cliff Agius. You'll know Cliff from the IoT Live sessions on the Azure Live channel. So Cliff is doing a talk in a couple of weeks' time for the Maker Show, where he talks about his project that he called Handy. Really, it's about this 3D printed bionic hand that Cliff has kind of developed using a Xamarin mobile app as well. So I've not actually seen this talk from Cliff in the past, so it's something that I'm going to do my best to tune into. But just thought I'd call that out because it's such a great idea and a great initiative that Cliff got involved with that. So just wanted to call that out and tell everybody, tune in, save the date, 10th of June, and take a look at that session. Sarah Lean has got another one of her roundtable sessions, which are always good fun to watch and really insightful. So this time we've got Chris Reddington and we've got Alexander Arvidsson joining Sarah to talk about the concept of recorded demos. So recorded demos, live demos, pros and cons, which one do people think is best suited. So yeah, that should be quite an interesting topic to discuss because we all know if you do demos and if you have had to do demos in the past in any kind of context, we all know that we pray to the demo gods on time. So yeah, that should be quite an interesting conversation. So tune into that 2nd of June. That's in a couple of days time, 6 o'clock. So yeah, give that a watch if you can. And finally, just wanted to call out huge congratulations to Carl Cook again. This, I think, was the latest tweet from Carl with his initiative, which is Hair Goes Funny to raise some money. So Carl is looking to dye his hair azure blue. In a few weeks' time, I think at the end of June, I think I recall it was. There we go, on Friday the 25th of June. And he's just doing fantastically well. I think he's well over £1,400 now raised. There we go, yeah, £1,420. He's got a new target of £1,500. I think he started off at 500, and he's raising some money for some fantastic charities. So he's raising it for Black Girls Code, for Interscience UK, Action Mental Health, and the Tu Tam Orphanage in Vietnam. So just wanted to call that out. Huge congratulations to Carl. And if you haven't supported Carl in that initiative, then please do so. Head on over to Carl's Twitter, grab the link, go and donate. It's for a fantastic cause. So yeah, congratulations, Carl. Looking forward to seeing where that gets to over the next few weeks. Okay, so this week we're going to take a look at the Azure news and updates, but of course, as it's been build this week, we're obviously going to focus a little bit on the news from build. So let's just head back over to my desktop now. So yeah, I mean, as I took a look at the Azure Updates website, lo and behold, because we've had build this week, we have got oodles and oodles of updates, news and updates. Now, by all means, jump on over and take a look. But I think we're up to, well, we're up to several pages. I think we're up to four or five pages. Yeah, about 3 or 4 pages actually on Azure Updates. So there are a lot. So I'm not going to go through them verbatim this morning. In fact, what I'm going to do is point you guys all in the direction of the Microsoft Build Book of News. So Build, obviously Microsoft Build has been taking place virtually this year again over the last couple of days, the 25th to the 27th of May. And, as per all Microsoft conferences, typically they release a bit of a consolidated book of news. So in the case of Build this year, we have this Microsoft Build Book of News. And if we take a look at the content, so we can see it from an Azure perspective. We've got quite a number of announcements covering all, a number of different various facets of Azure AI, cloud native and app platform. So, I mean, if we take a look at these, we can kind of scan through the kinds of updates that we've got. Azure Data, Developer Tools and DevOps, Hybrid and Multi-Cloud, Azure Infra and IoT. And we can see the Book of News also covers some other interesting areas around the developer community. We've got some updates on identity and cloud security, some stuff around M365, predominantly Graph and Teams, some good announcements around the Power Platform, and finally some Windows announcements. So, I mean, there are a lot of announcements that came out of Build, obviously, as you'd expect with any Microsoft conference. So, I mean, just for the purposes of this quick, brief little update, like I said, I didn't want to take too long today because I've been a little bit out of it this week with other things going on. But I just wanted to call out a few bits and pieces. So if we look at, we start off looking at Azure Info, we can see that we got things like Azure Bicep version 0.4 is coming out in June with new features to improve the workflow and validate that code. We've got some new Azure Monitor capabilities that'll ease onboarding for developers and increase efficiencies. And Elastic is now integrated into the Azure portal. So you can see from an infrastructure point of view, we've got some quite cool announcements there. If we look at Azure IoT, we can see that Azure IoT Edge updates allow secure data connection for both Windows and Linux. So gives you a little bit more information on the kind of announcement. So looking at IoT Edge with its nesting capabilities, IoT Edge for Linux and Windows, also known as eFlow, has gone GA. So you can see that it allows customers to use both Windows and Linux instead of choosing just one. Customers can retain their existing Windows IoT assets, plus benefit from the power of Windows IoT for apps that require an interactive user experience and high performance hardware interaction. So like I say, I'm not going to dwell on these too much, but you can just see I'm going to point you all in the direction of the Microsoft Build Book of News. I didn't catch as much of it as I'd liked. Like I say, I've had preoccupying things going on this week for myself personally. So I'm going to very much take a little bit of time to kind of review some of the sessions that have gone on. And it was fantastic to see a number of people in the community taking part in various build sessions as well. So there we go. A nice brief update this week for episode number 22. I've kept it well under the 15-minute mark, which is a bit more like it. So like I say, I'm going to leave it there for this week. Thanks for everybody's support and kind words over the last few weeks for my personal predicament and situation. I really is appreciated, obviously. So until next week, I'm going to leave it there. Have a great weekend, everybody, and into next week. And we will speak then. Thanks for now. Bye.